Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg. After a brief break between storms earlier this week, we saw some snow again today for parts of the region.
A winter weather advisory just expired for the southern Missoula and northern Bitterroot Valley tonight. Here's what it looked like in Missoula today. Our next system is set to enter Friday, bringing the potential for freezing rain on top of all this for western Montana valleys and snow at the higher elevations, including at pass level. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost in the Storm Tracker Weather Center.
Yeah, you said it. And unfortunately, although most of our valleys are still on the cold side, seeing those valley inversions in place, we will see warmer air moving in on top of that Friday and Saturday, which will give us that potential for pockets of freezing rain. Now, this was Hamilton today, our First Security Bank ICAM. The radar very quiet right now, still dealing with some cloud cover, but the bulk of that weak disturbance now moving into Wyoming. This brief break will last into the overnight hours and much of Thursday, with those inversions rather strengthening even more before that next system moves on in. I've got the full outlook coming up shortly.
Well, icy sidewalks, walkways, and parking lots have been the cause of a number of injuries in recent days. It's tough to know what the conditions are like under the fresh snow, even on the spots that have been plowed. Community Medical Center physical therapist Mary Thane says there are several ways to help prevent falls, or at least lessen your odds of taking a tumble. Yak tracks can be worn over the bottom of shoes, using a walking stick with an ice pick attached, or spreading sand or kitty litter in front of you as you walk are all helpful ways to avoid a big fall. If those options aren't available, you can still help yourself.
Walking with a wider base of support, shorter steps, almost like a duck walk when you're walking. On the icy conditions, you just have to be more alert, just like you are in your car. Almost a hypervigilance of watching your area around you.
She also says it's really important to not dual task when you're walking in ice, like talking on the phone or texting while you're trying to walk on the slick sidewalk.
The death of a snowboarder this weekend at Whitefish Mountain Resort once again raising the questions about the hazard from tree wells. Tree wells form when an area gets a lot of dry, loose, unconsolidated snow like we've had the past few days, and it forms at the base of the trees. Whitefish Mountain Resort Assistant Ski Patrol Manager Jeff Soylan says they're probably one of the more underestimated hazards of skiing in the trees, and the best way to avoid them is simply ski on groomed run only. However, people won't just stop skiing the trees, and Soylan says the best way to avoid the danger is using the buddy system.
That's oftentimes where some of the best powder is in the trees. So some things to think about is use the buddy system. You know, try to keep your partners in sight, be there to aid them, and then they will be there to help you if you get into trouble.
We'll have more on the tree well hazard coming up tonight on the 10 o'clock news. Meanwhile, a Rollins man who was killed in a snowboarding accident near Lakeside was set to stand trial in Flathead County for rape. 22-year-old Connor Heidegger of Rollins was set to stand trial later this month on a felony rape charge. According to court documents, the incident happened in Big Fork last summer. Heidegger was accused of entering a home there and raping a woman. He was out on $100,000 bail. At the time he was killed Sunday attempting to jump off a cliff while snowboarding out of bounds. Lakeside Heidegger's trial had been set for January 22nd. He was expected to last 5 days.
Patients who deal with chronic health conditions can often fall through the cracks of our healthcare system and end up living in poor health conditions and ultimately costing the system a lot of money without getting many results.
MTN's Augusta McDonald shows us a new alternative model of care that's proving to help patients get the assistance they need.
Partnership Health Center's Super Utilizer program serves a certain type of patient. They typically lack the skills and resources necessary to deal with their chronic health needs and often end up in the emergency room on a regular basis. Over the past year and a half, 2 case managers at Partnership have been tasked with spending time with these patients in their homes in order to figure out why their health outcomes are not improving and what they can do to make them better.
They're affectionately known as Chaz and Ted. And this is Susan. Due to a car wreck 2 years ago, she's mainly homebound now and in need of surgery.
How has your life changed since then?
Drastically. It ruined my life. I have no social life.
In spite of their patients' complicated conditions, Chaz and Ted say they're resilient.
Between now and when we get the surgery, we have to make sure that Susan is living the best life that she can right now, and that means that making sure that she has the necessary supplies to so that she can go out in public, so that she can
make her bingo night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Tonight's bingo night.
Tonight's bingo night?
This level of engagement, it requires something from the patient. And when you've got a chronic condition, oftentimes you don't have more to give. And that's where ideally we get to step in and say, hey, how can we help you out? What have we been missing?
The program gets referrals through a couple different routes, and the patients have to fit an inclusion criteria. That umbrella covers patients who typically live with at least one of the big 5 conditions, as they call them: congestive heart failure, COPD, diabetes, asthma, and high blood pressure.
What I've seen a lot of is patients becoming fatigued for caring for themselves. It's like a self-care compassion fatigue, where they're just no longer really have the willpower to check their diabetes every day, or to make sure their blood pressure is staying down, or to make sure their salt intake is as low as it can. Do that every day for 30 years and you're going to get tired of it.
Every case is different. Their latest results are showing that by reducing emergency room visits, their efforts are saving money and also improving the patient's quality of life.
It's those sort of tangible successes where we're actually changing the day-to-day experience in patients' lives by getting the healthcare crises out of the way so they can sort of live life again.
They work with about 20 to 30 patients at a given time. Their grant money with the Montana Healthcare Foundation that's paying for Chaz and Ted to do this work lasts for about another year. After that, Dr. Stanger told me they hope that their positive outcomes can be used to convince payers like Medicaid that this upfront investment in coordinating patient care is worth it. Augusta McDonald, MTN News, Missoula.
We have more information about that program on our website.
A final proposal for new Kalispell elementary boundary lines could get the green light next week. The Kalispell School Board is set to vote on a final proposal next Tuesday during the regular school board meeting. These new boundaries are needed to accommodate the district's 6 elementary schools, Rankin Elementary, currently under construction on Airport Road. The district began to draw input from 3 public forums back in October on the different plans. Superintendent Mark Flatto says they took everyone's comments into consideration before then crafting the final proposal, which received the most support.
We know that there's not going to be a perfect plan in moving from 5 elementary enrollment areas to 6, but we think that this has addressed the bulk, certainly the more significant concerns that were mentioned on multiple occasions by folks.
The last time the district redrew boundaries was back in 1987 when Edgerton was completed on Whitefish Stage Road.
The 2017 Missoula Food Bank Food Holiday Drive is wrapped up, and it was a banner year. In all, over $230,000 was raised and more than 75,000 pounds of food collected. That tops the all-time fundraising record. The drive is key for the success for this calendar year. Missoula Food Bank Executive Director Aaron Brock says with a new, much larger facility, they're seeing more clients than ever, and he appreciates having a community that always steps up.
I think that our new facility has opened some new programs for us. We're doing more than we ever have before. And we have some folks who really responded and who've given so generously. This community has just stepped forward over and over again and made it clear that no one should go to bed hungry.
And Brock adds that he's thankful for the nearly 7,000 pounds of food raised by you, the KPAX-TV viewers, and we'd like to thank you for your donations to help out.
Former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon is speaking out about the Trump White House and the Russia investigation as part of a new book that's about to be released.
All the attention on this story today. Wei Zhejiang is at the White House with more details on what Bannon said and the president's personal response.
Steve Bannon didn't hold back while being interviewed by Michael Wolff for his new book on the Trump administration. In excerpts from Fire and Fury inside the Trump White House, Bannon described a meeting at Trump Tower with a Russian lawyer as treasonous and unpatriotic. Donald Trump Jr., campaign chairman Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law and senior advisor, attended the meeting in June 2016. The Russian attorney claimed to have documents that would incriminate Hillary Clinton. Bannon said the 3 senior guys in the campaign thought it was a good idea to meet with a foreign government inside Trump Tower in the conference room on the 25th floor with no lawyers. They didn't have any lawyers. And he added they should have called the FBI immediately. Bannon also says there is 0 chance Donald Trump Jr. did not also escort the Russian lawyer to see his father.
Did the president meet any of Donald Trump Jr.'s guests at that June 2016 Trump Tower meeting on that day?
As the president has stated many times, no, and he wasn't part or aware of that.
Shortly after the excerpts were made public, President Trump issued a statement. He said when Bannon was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind. The president wrote Bannon spent his time at the White House leaking false information to the media to make himself seem far more important than he was. Steve was rarely in a one-on-one meeting with me and only pretends to have had influence to fool a few people with no access and no clue, whom he helped write phony books. Bannon left his White House position in August 2017. At the time, White House officials said the decision was mutual. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
Michael Wolff's book is scheduled to be released January 9th.
Well, still ahead, those companies that recycle cardboard say they're overwhelmed after a record-setting online holiday shopping season.
It's all because of those boxes, how companies like Amazon are trying to cut down on waste after the break. That's coming up here on KPAX.